Cowboys
Oh
Pregame
man,
Live is brought to you.
that probably makes the year. You know what I'm saying? Like that sets everything off. Like us getting that win, away game in Philly, knowing how they trying to get the #1 seed, can shut them back a little bit. They're fighting for everything. They're fighting for where they want to be in playoffs, and we just fighting to whooping.
No love lost when it comes to the city of brotherly love as the Dallas Cowboys travel to Lincoln Financial Field and take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Week 17 of the NFL season. This is Cowboys Pregame Live, presented by WinStar World Casino and Resort. We lead you up to kickoff between two NFC East rivals. It doesn't matter about playoff complications for the Dallas Cowboys. It's all about playing spoiler late in the year. We've got Barry Church, Nate Newton, Isaiah Stanback, three individuals who have taken part in this Cowboys-Eagle rivalry quite a few times before. I'm Kyle Yeomans, glad you're with us. Soon to be joined by Nicole Hutchison and Nick Eatman as well. Gentlemen, like I said, no love lost. It's the city of quote-unquote brotherly love. There's a lot of hate in this rivalry.
Without a doubt. I mean, all three of us, we played for the Dallas Cowboys, and Kyle, you've covered the team long enough. You understand how heated this rivalry goes. It goes way back. And to me, the players in that locker room, I understand they know, the Dallas Cowboys locker room, that they want nothing more than to put a dent in the Philadelphia Eagles playoff picture. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, gentlemen, because even without Hurts in the lineup out there, this team still was able to put 33 points up against a Washington Commanders team. Their defense takes the ball away better than half of the league out there. So it's going to be a tough matchup. They're going to have to bring their A game if they want to knock off this Philadelphia team this afternoon.
No one likes an Eagle. I mean, not these Philadelphia Eagles anyway. I mean, I like the Philly's cheesesteak, but that's about as far as it goes. Right now, the Cowboys need to come out and try to control the ball, do what they have to do, be physical, try to just keep this game close and see what happens in the end.
Listen, you already said it, Kyle. There may not be no Jalen Hurts, right? But you want to hurt their seeding, and that's all you want to do. The Grinch that stole Christmas. Christmas is over, but Micah Parsons still is talking about having an opportunity to go out there and disrupt what they have going on. Listen up, you're still playing for pride. You're still playing for your name. You're still playing for the brand that is the Dallas Cowboys. And a lot of these guys, you're playing for your next year's opportunity. So go out there, hold it down, represent well, and go out there and have some fun.
And a little extra opportunity for some individuals on the offensive side of the football, because we will not see CeeDee Lamb at the end of this 2024 campaign. He's only missed one game throughout his career. He's going to miss two as he's out for the rest of the season. They shut him down, dealing with that AC joint injury. Isaiah, we talked about it extensively throughout the season. He's dealt with that injury before, played through it. What does the shutdown tell you about this offense?
The shutdown tells me that they are protecting one of their most valuable assets on this team and this organization. They just gave CeeDee Lamb a lot of money, very much deserving. He's shown his toughness. He's shown his leadership. He's shown his productivity. He has nothing else to show this year if there's no chance at the playoffs and no chance at hosting that Lombardi trophy. So, with that being said, you protect him because he most likely was not going to try to protect himself. That's your responsibility as an organization, and your responsibility as an organization is to position yourself for the best run you can from today and moving forward.
Jalen Brooks, Jaylen Tolbert, I don't want to pronounce the kid's name wrong, Jonathan Mingo. All of these guys, they get the opportunity to shine. They get a chance to do what they need to do. Schoonmaker, here you go. Make it shine. Make yourself shine. This is opportunity these next two games to show the Cowboys that you are worthy to be in that second, third, or fourth receiver.
Yeah, I like the guys that you just named off there, as well as Ferguson. I mean, this could be an opportunity for him to get his targets up and really go out there and show that he could be a #1 tight end in this league. But when it comes to CeeDee Lamb, the most impressive part about his season to me, I understand he's going to get those numbers, he's going to get those stats, but his leadership style has changed a lot in these recent games. I mean, we've seen before body language kind of flapping when things don't go wrong, pouting on the sidelines. But this year, he's been a completely different leader out there. He's led by example. He's been the guy that go out there and get it done no matter who's at the quarterback position. And that's what I love to see going forward. He's fighting through injuries to help get his team win. And when you got that kind of guy going forward, the sky's the limit.
And now on the other side, the Philadelphia Eagles dealing without an offensive playmaker in their own right. You mentioned the absence of Jalen Hurts. Kenny Pickett will start at quarterback. He filled in last week, went 14 of 24, 143 yards, a touchdown, and interception as well against the Washington Commanders. How does this game plan change, Barry, for the Cowboys defense going up against Pickett instead of Hurts?
Well, you don't have to worry as much about the dual threat ability of the quarterback. I mean, Pickett is an athletic guy, but he's no Jalen Hurts out there. But to me, when you look at it defensively for the Dallas Cowboys, there should be one guy you should be focused on. to stop it, and that's Saquon Barkley. I understand if Hurts was there or if he's not there, you got to stop Saquon Barkley. That is the engine that keeps this offense going. If they want to keep this game within touching distance when the fourth quarter comes around, you've got to be able to stop that guy, and you got to be consistent stopping him.
Yeah, well, you have one of the most aggressive and productive defenses over the last 4 to 5 games in the NFL. So continue to build upon that, right? His last name might be Pickett, but I need you to pick it whenever it comes your way. The thing is, he's going to give you opportunities. And with the pressure that you can elicit on the defensive side of the ball in your front seven, Micah Parsons, right, and all the other guys that are doing well up front, Osa Odigizua, okay, go up there and make it difficult on him. Make him uncomfortable because he does not have the bold confidence in himself to be able to escape the pocket. He does not have the ability to have the RPO. He does not have the ability to have the bootlegs and things of that nature that Jalen Hurts possesses. So go out there, put him in the corner, and go ahead and make some plays.
And, of course, with Kenny Pickett behind center, well, they've got to rely on their run game. Good thing for Philadelphia, bad thing for Dallas. Their run game has been really strong this season behind a resurgent Saquon Barkley, league leader in multiple categories. He's on pace to possibly break the single-season rushing record set by Eric Dickerson back in 1984. An opportunity to do so. He's got to average 134 yards per game over the next 2 contests. Nate, how does Dallas avoid that happening?
Safeties. Safety's going to have to play a big part in this game. Sure tackling, gang tackling, covering him coming out of the backfield. You have to focus first, second, and almost third down on Barkley because with Pickett being the quarterback, they're going to rely on this kid. He's going for a record. So believe me, everybody from the head coach down to the water boy know that this guy has a chance to set a record. And the Cowboys safeties have to play very big this game.
Yeah, they're going to have to play big time. And in that front seven, they're going to have to come to play. I mean, because this is a rushing attack. You just talked about it, Cal. #1 in the National Football League, one of the best offensive lines there is in the National Football League. And we understand what Saquon Barkley brings to the table. I mean, he's the engine of this offense. He's a guy that whenever he touches the football, he's a home run threat out there. But to me, when he gets out of the game and take a break, you can't slouch on his backup, which is Kenneth Gainwell. I mean, this is a guy that's averaging 4.5 yards per rush. So to me, this is going to be a 4-quarter battle for the trenches in the Dallas Cowboys. And if they want to win, they're going to have to contain Saquon Barkley.
And we'll talk more about that defense in a little bit because this Cowboys defense going up against the #1 total offense in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. It will be a challenge for Micah Parsons and company. When we come back here on Cowboys Pregame Live, will Micah Parsons and this Cowboys defense have success, or will they have that challenge even with Kenny Pickett at quarterback? Plus, we go out to Lincoln Financial Field, and we'll catch up with Nick Eatman right after this.
This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back to Cowboys Pregame Live, leading into kickoff between the Cowboys and the Eagles. Let's go out to Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. We're on the sidelines. Nick Heatman joins us. As Nick, really, the playoff hopes are now gone for the Cowboys, but a chance to play spoiler this afternoon. What are the vibes around the team as you guys traveled out to Philly?
Well, I think you said it best, Kyle. I mean, it is a chance to play spoiler, and it's a chance to play, some games of football, which, for some of the fans, I can understand. They're like, all right, they're just already looking to see how does this team get better, how do they move forward next year. But you got to remember how many free agents are on this team right now. Over 25. You got a lot of coaches that are not under contract. And so, this is another opportunity for them to show themselves both individually and as a team and as a unit. So I just think that opportunity alone, it gives some excitement here. And then, anytime you go into a place where they hate you, you better get excited about doing something, because if not, they're trying to steamroll you, and that's always been the case at Philly. As I hear the boos, I'm sure that the Cowboys, Cowboy players are coming onto the field with this nice warm welcome here in Philly.
Oh, it's always a nice little spectacle as the Cowboys get on the field there in Philly. Now, we've talked a little bit about Saquon Barkley and his production. The Cowboys defense will have their own hands full in terms of slowing down Saquon, but how does Dallas get their run game going with Rico Dowdle and company going into this matchup?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key here, because we know that any quarterback, especially one like Cooper Rush, a backup quarterback, they're going to need some help. Just like Kenny Pickett is going to be leaning on Saquon Barkley, Cooper Rush has to lean on the running game, and I think that's what's helped this team the last few weeks. Now, they were able to win without it last week, which was remarkable when you consider that he had Rico had 30 yards rushing, and they were still able to win the game. That can't work today. They're going to have to be more complimentary, and I think to do that, you got to go inside out. It's not always going to be pretty. They've got those two big guys in the front for Philadelphia. You're going to have to test them, though, because anything that's going to work on the outside, any of the play actions, they're going to have to run the football. So I think they have to stay committed. It's going to be important to stay in the game on the other side. That's what's really helped the running game, is the Cowboys have had some leads in the fourth quarter, in the second half, and have never had to abandon the running game.
Now, the Dallas defense has had some success recently. What's their biggest challenge going up against this Eagles offense today?
Well, it's Saquon Barkley for sure, and then also, A.J. Brown on the outside, Devontae Smith. They've got so many weapons. They're a little bit different when they've got. Did we just block a ref? Is that what happened here? The referee was trying to come into the show. He's trying to join us here. But yeah, Chris Beam said, no, not happening today. So that's what they're going to have to do against the Eagles. They're going to have to block everybody out. You know what I mean? If you try to come into the territory, you're going to have to say no. So that's exactly what has to happen here. We've got to play some defense. Chris Beam's starting it off here.
Hey, that's proof that this is a live interview, everybody. This is proof that we are on the board as we're going. Nick, thanks so much. We'll talk to you again down the line. Chris Beam doing some good work out there, setting up the camera, setting up the audio, and then blocking out as well. All right, let's talk about this inactive list a little bit as well. Not any huge names on the board outside of the Cowboys placing CeeDee Lamb on the injured reserve list. These are the names that are unavailable for the Cowboys today. Actually, we're going to wait a little bit on that. But let's talk about that defense. The defense going up against Kenny Pickett and company, that's going to be a challenge in its own way, but it's something that the Cowboys defense is probably up for it.
Yeah, they're definitely up for it. And when I talk about this defense, I've loved what they've turned into this second half of the season. You really see that rush and cover working together as one out there. The defensive line getting after quarterbacks, harassing quarterbacks, and forcing them into errant passes. And we see that secondary being very opportunistic. We saw last week Jordan Lewis with one of the best interceptions I've seen in a long time. You've seen Deron Bland being able to strip the ball out there as well. But to me, when it comes down to that front seven, especially the defensive line, you see guys taking more advantage of their one-on-ones and winning more of those one-on-ones outside of Micah Parsons. I'm talking about the Carl Lawsons of the world, the Odighizuwas, the Chauncey Goldstons. Those guys are out there winning their one-on-ones more often, and that's what the real turnaround for this defense has been.
And that's going to be the thing. Going up against Kenny Pickett at quarterback, that's one thing. He's a starter in this league. He's had some success, up and down roller coaster, but the weapons outside you cannot ignore, and that offensive line has been playing very, very well as of late as well. Let's talk talk about the Cowboys offense when we come back here on Cowboys Pregame Live. Can Cooper Rush and company continue taking care of the football and put themselves in a place to be successful with Rico Dowdle and that run game as well?
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys. Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
The Cowboys offense led by Cooper Rush over the last 5 games. Look at that touchdown-interception ratio. Not only is he taking care of the football, but he's been efficient. You can see that confidence growing with Cooper. Started 0-2. He's won 4 of the last 5, and they've, of course, been within really 1 play on special teams away from being in playoff contention. Isaiah, when you look at Cooper Rush, what has he taken the biggest step in this season?
I think he's getting more confident in himself again. I think he had lost his confidence there for a while. I still think that he can be more accurate. I still think that he can still push the ball down the field. But in terms of how he's starting to facilitate this offense in accompaniment with the rushing game, right? When it was just solely on him trying to throw the ball, they weren't giving Rico 20-plus touches. I think they were asking too much of him. So they have to continue to give the rock to Rico, have that complimentary ball, and then allow for him to continue to pick apart and take advantage of the splash plays when they present themselves.
You know, I know you didn't ask this question, but Chuma Adoga, Brock Hoffman, Cooper Beebe, this is why he's getting better. The first game he came in, he was bombed. For us the sacks, for us the pressures. Now he's able to settle down, find his receivers, along with the running game with Rico Dowdle. His kid is the guy that we know now, just an efficient guy, not super talented, not the strongest arm in the world, but he just does his job.
Now remember, the last time he faced this Philadelphia defense, he had just 46 passing yards, and he's going up against a team in Philadelphia that is top 10 in every major category on defense, including the leaders in total defense. Only 282 yards per game allowed on the defensive side. Barry, what do they do best?
They rush the passer. I mean, they got some of those guys, they're able to get after the quarterback with just 4 out there. They got 2 big interior defensive linemen, Carter, Davis out there, that are able to stuff the run, and their secondary is extremely opportunistic. They got Gardner Johnson back there at the safety, who does an amazing job out there.
They're all good back there.
They're all good. I mean,
the defensive back, that's loaded.
They're loaded. The whole defense, front, second level, Zach Braun, secondary as well. I mean, they're loaded defensively, but the key for the Cowboys is they got to win on 1st and 2nd down. You cannot make 3rd down stressful and leave it all on Cooper Rush's arm, like 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 10s. You got to make those 3rd downs manageable, and don't let these guys pin their ears back and get after the quarterback.
And we talked about the defensive back room. We talked about no CeeDee Lamb. What we haven't hit is the opportunity for some of these wide receivers. And when we come back on Pregame Live, we're going to hear from Nicole Hutchison, who sat down with Jaylen Tolbert. He spoke on that opportunity and how the Cowboys can take advantage here in Week 7.
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV.
Despite no playoff hopes, opportunity at hand for individuals scattered throughout this Cowboys roster. One of them sat down with Nicole Hutchison this week. Jaylen Tolbert, he's stepping into a role that could have him at the end of the day as wide receiver 1.
Absolutely. I mean, but this wide receiver room has had the opportunities to step up and showcase what they can do, right? Without CeeDee Lamb this offseason, leading all the way up till training camp, even the preseason. So, but this opportunity is a little bit different, right? Because they're playing for opportunities in 2025, jobs in 2025. And Jaylen Tolbert told me that there was one guy in particular that helped them understand what this chance really means.
B. Cooks talked with us earlier and, emphasized, we don't have to be superheroes, be yourself. Go out there and play your game, be confident, play fast, play physical, and the rest will take care of itself. And so the opportunities are there for us to go out there and show the world, that, we're capable of making plays as well. And so, honestly, I think everybody's looking forward to the opportunity.
I love how you always mention Brandon Cooks whenever talking about the leadership in that room and someone who's kind of helped you along the way as well. You spent some time with him this offseason. How do you feel like that time is now paying off for you this year?
Yeah, I mean, it started when he first got here, and he saw something in me and saw the way that I worked. And so the way that he works, the way that he takes care of his body, the way that he goes to practice, the way that he takes notes, all of the above, to see that and then be able to put it into my own form or fashion has started paying off for me. And like I say, even just having talks with him about, the mental aspect of, playing the game. You may drop a pass, you may, miss a block or run the wrong route, whatever it may be, it's on to the next play. And, to see how he goes through certain things like that, like I said, it leads the way for not only myself, but all the guys in the room.
42 catches, 482 yards, 6 touchdowns this season, which is kind of slept on. I don't think people realize that that's some numbers right there. Specifically for you, though, do you feel like you've made the most of your opportunities this year?
Yeah, I think I've made the most of them, but also I'm very hard on myself and know that I left a couple out there, a couple opportunities that I could have had, and so, you can't harp on those, but just grow from them.
Well, you've been called upon in big opportunities. Week 5 specifically against Pittsburgh, 4th down, game on the line, call on Jaylen Tolbert, game. And then, of course, last week, big catch against Tampa Bay, 3rd down play. What is it about those big moments that you feel so confident in to make those big plays?
Confidence in my preparation, honestly. Just going out to practice, get put in those situations a little bit. We obviously do 2-minute drills and all type of situational things each and every day. And so just repetition and going out there and being confident.
I like what Barry Church said earlier in the show is that this could be a four-quarter game. So any one of these guys could be called upon. Maybe a Jaylen Tolbert, maybe a Kevontae Turpin, any one of those guys specifically. But he told me that all of these guys have confidence. They have confidence in Cooper Rush and dealing them the ball. They also have confidence in themselves to make the plays too.
That's the thing, is you got to have some level of confidence to get it done. Nicole Hutchison sitting down with Jaylen Tolbert this week. When we come back on Cowboys Pregame Live, we wrap up the TV portion of the show. We talk about some success that Dallas has had against Philadelphia in the month of December. What's their record been like lately? Right after this.
Cowboys Pregame Live was brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, and by SWBC Mortgage. Join the more than 120,000 customers that we've helped to find their happier way home. Visit swbcmortgage.com to find a pro today.
Of course, with an NFC East rivalry, you have a little back and forth action. The month of December has actually been very much so in favor of the Cowboys over their last 9 meetings. The Cowboys are 7-2 against the Philadelphia Eagles in December, including their matchup last year, a 33-13 win. It'll be another matchup from Lincoln Financial Field. We'll have you all the way up to kickoff on the DallasCowboys.com side of things. Thanks for joining us on TXA 21. More Cowboys Pregame Live on the internet.
Cowboys Pregame Live is brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, and by SWBC Mortgage. Join the more than 120,000 customers that we've helped to find their happier way home. Visit swbcmortgage.com to find a pro today.
Don't you just love noon kickoffs? You get the TV portion, you get a little breakfast, maybe a little late brunch sort of deal. You get to listen to Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us. Cowboys-Eagles on Fox at noon. It'll be a fun matchup between two NFC East rivals, and we've talked about playing spoiler quite a bit for the Cowboys in this one. That's really the case moving forward. You don't have the playoff hopes. You really don't. But you do have a lot to look forward to. What was your favorite part about playing the Cowboys and the Eagles rivalry?
Oh, it was just going back and forth and trash talking. I mean, it starts from when you get to the stadium, pregame warm-ups on the field. You're going back and forth with those guys. You know they're going to give their hardest. You know you're going to give your hardest as well. So, to me, just going back and forth with those guys, and then after the game, winning, having the bragging rights for the rest of the season, I mean, it was a pretty cool experience.
I like the energy. I'm a competitor at heart through and through, so walking out on the field, hearing the boos from the crowd, especially when you're in their crib, you walk in their stadium, you hear the boos, you're doing your pregame warm-up, and then you get out there with your team, right? You do your walkthroughs, all that jazz, and then you go to kickoff, right? I was a kick returner, so knowing that the whole game was going to start with me touching the ball, I loved every aspect about it. I love that rivalry.
Vet Stadium. wasn't no good, raggedy. The fans was raggedy. I loved it all because they was booing you. They was throwing batteries at you. They was throwing Santa Claus out of the stands. I loved every bit of it. Reggie White, Jerome Brown, Self Joyner, Clyde Simmons. I mean, the competition.
Yes, sir.
Going against the best and defeating them in that stadium.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Listen, there's no competition between Cowboys media and Philly media. Just kidding. I don't have the same mindset.
I'm not kidding.
whenever
They
these guys
forfeited.
do.
They forfeited.
Yeah. Let's go out to Lincoln Financial Field. Let's go back to Philly and hear from Cowboys COO Stephen Jones, who's with Nick Eatman now.
Thanks so much, Kyle. And as always, we're joined by Stephen Jones, Cowboys Chief Operating Officer here at Lincoln Financial Field. Last road game of the season and last few days here of 2024. What are you expecting here for your Cowboys team going up against the Eagles?
I think they're no different than what we've seen the last 5 weeks. I think our guys are going to come out and compete at a very high level. Obviously, we're in it to win it. We want to win each and every game, and some young guys are going to get opportunities to step up, which will be interesting. Just talking to Coach McCarthy a second ago about these receivers getting an opportunity. We'll see all of them, and all of them have some interesting things that they got that they're good at, and hopefully can have success. So, like I said, I just expect our guys to compete at a high level, and there's no one we'd rather do it against than do it against the Eagles.
The fact that that they have something to play for as well, and you just said you guys do as well. Everyone has their own thing, but they'll be fighting for a playoff spot and winning the NFC East. Does that just add any intensity to the rivalry? Saying, hey, let's go out there and spoil this thing.
Absolutely, we've been on both sides of this, and anytime you play an NFC East rival, they're going to play at a high level, play hard, and we fully expect that from our guys. And I think Coach McCarthy, Coach Zimmer, they've all done a great job, I think, of being professionals and, really having our guys, playing to a level that, we felt like we could have done all year.
Your respect level for CeeDee Lamb was through the roof before the season even started. I'm sure of that. But after what he's done, and how hard was it to say, all right, you've done enough, let's shut this thing down?
Yeah, it's a tough one. If it were up to him, he'd be out here playing today. Yeah. And, at some point you got to protect these uber competitors from themselves. And, we took another look at the shoulder, and it wasn't getting any better. It was actually going the other way. So just didn't think it was in his best interest, for him to continue with the injury that he had.
Those young receivers you talked about, Mingo should be one of those. Is a guy that you traded for. What do you like about him so far? And is he somebody you really want to see get some passes his way?
Well, his physicality, you look at him and you say, that's a big guy. Looks like he could play tight end. But his physicality's everything we thought it would be. The harder part is just, getting in rhythm with, our system. With Cooper Rush, he hadn't had the reps that the other guys have had. But expect him hopefully to get more involved in the passing game today. But really like what we're seeing out of him. Think he's got a bright future with us. I actually love that whole room. I mean, you look at them all, and they're all bring something to the table that, should help us out.
Kenny Pickett has started a lot of games. Obviously, Jalen Hurts not playing. May not see as many of those pushes. But Kenny Pickett, what are you expecting from him, and do you think it'll be a lot of Barkley today?
Well, he's a top-tier talent, Pickett is. I mean, obviously a first-round pick. Didn't quite work out for him there in Pittsburgh, but, he just moved down the road here to Philly, and, we expect him to come out and play well. And, of course, fully expect to get a full dose of Saquon. What an amazing year he's had. He's obviously, and deservedly so, in the MVP, conversation about the year that he's had. So we'll definitely have our hands full there. But, I like what our defense has been doing. I mean, they're certainly understanding what Mike wants out of them. Mike's understanding our personnel all the more. And fully expect our defense to go out and play well.
All right. Well, you said in it to win it. We'll see if they can get to 8-8 this year. Stephen, thanks for joining us. All right, Kyle, we'll throw it back to you.
Thank you very much, Nick and Stephen, on the sidelines in Lincoln Financial Field. Let's talk about some of the notable milestones that are on the horizon for a couple of these guys in the vicinity, because you at this point of the season, when playoffs aren't there, you're looking for at least some sort of look to the future or a milestone, something of the sort. Micah Parsons just half a sack away from 4 straight 10-sack seasons to start his career, and that's after he missed that significant chunk of time. It's pretty impressive what he's done this year coming back from injury. What do you want to see from Micah today?
Just more consistency. I mean, he's been doing it ever since he's been in the lineup. He's been able to do it. I mean, the injuries we talked about, it took a little bit away from it, but as soon as he got back from injury, you felt his impact immediately. So to me, just keep that consistency rolling, keep being the heartbeat of that defense, and the rest of the guys will follow.
I want to see him be effective in the run game, right? His run defense. We know that he can rush the passer. We know he's going to get after Pickett and be a doggone lint in his pocket. But we need him to be a great run defender, and I think that's one of the boxes that he needs to continue to check to continue to elevate his game.
And that's the thing is whenever it comes to Jake Ferguson, comes to Micah Parsons and what he does on the edge of that defensive line, it helps everybody else play better too. Nate, and you've played against some great edge rushers in your day. Where does Micah have most of his success?
Oh, man, his explosiveness, man. The way he can just get off the rock, and he's a game master. When you're doing the TE and the tackle in stunt, see, that's where he's real exposed because he has enough hesitation and enough explosion to get back inside and make plays. He ranks real high in that pass rush there. He's not an LT. Please don't. He's not an LT because LT played both run and pass, but he's getting there. He's gaining.
And he's taking a step forward in a leadership standpoint as well. Let's talk about Jake Ferguson. Almost jumped the gun there a moment ago because he's closing in on 500 yards. Another guy who missed some time with injury, yet he's still putting together a good season.
Yeah, he is putting together a big season. And to me, when we looked at it, the injuries kind of slowed him down a little bit. I know that's Nate's boy over there. I'm a Schoonmaker guy. Nate's a Ferguson guy. But to me, those injuries slowed him down a little bit. And overall, the season just hasn't been what we might have thought it would be going into this year. I thought it'd be a bigger red zone target out there for this offense, be able to threaten the seams more. But injuries took a lot of that away from him. So hopefully these last 2 games, he can finish out the season strong.
Yeah, Jake Ferguson got to find himself again. He's got to get more comfortable with the offense. He's got to get more comfortable with Cooper. And he's got to catch the passes better. He had a few drops, I think, where he normally would help Dak. He didn't help Cooper. So you got to get more consistent. He's got to get a little bit more physical as he catches this ball.
I know we're talking about a milestone for Fergie, but would you classify this as a disappointing season, Isaiah?
I wouldn't say disappointing. I think you expected more of him.
Yeah.
Disappointing is
there
such
were
a
high
negative,
expectations.
Yeah, there's a high
which is why I
expectations.
asked.
Yeah, it's a negative connotation when people say disappointing. I think that he was hoping for more productivity, and obviously Barry already alluded to it when he said about his injuries. That did put a little speed bump in his trip to memory lane here in terms of trying to be successful. You're not going to have the season that you want to have. You're not going to be as productive whenever you miss that much time. And then the fact that his backups were so productive while he was gone, now he had to work his way back into it. Even though he's the lo and behold starter, you still have to now work your way into it and now get back reps that they started giving to other guys that were behind you on the depth chart.
Luke Schoonmaker, Brevin Spanford, both of those guys played pretty well and continued to take steps in the right direction. Now, keeping it on the offensive side of the ball, the fact that Rico Dowdle is just 97 yards away from a 1,000-yard season. Of course, there's 17 games, but that's significant because of how little they used him early in the season. What does that say, Nate, about what this ground game has become for Dallas?
Since Brock Hoffman has been in, BB has matured, the run game inside has turned into something special. Give this kid the ball today. Let him have his success. He's worked hard. He's been in 5 years. He's been patient. Now is the time to give it to this kid. He needs to touch it at least 23 times if I can get my 1 point.
Yes, sir.
We haven't even gotten that.
No, when you look at Rico, it's a big-time accomplishment. I know 1,000 yards isn't what it used to be with the added game out there, but when you talked about it, Cal, earlier in the season, this guy was only getting maybe 8 to 10 touches in a game. I mean, he wasn't able to get that rhythm until later in the season when they started giving him the 20 to 25 carries a game. So, to me, they need to keep that up, especially with CeeDee Lamb not being in the game. You got to win on first and second down. I feel like the key is Rico Dowdle getting that football.
Isaiah?
I love Rico. You know I love my Rico. Give the boy the rock. Every time you're giving him the ball 20 times a game, good things happen. I think the least amount that he's had when you gave him, I think 19 was like 88 yards. Give the boy the rock 20 times. He's going to get you a touchdown. He's going to get you over 100 yards. Yes, Nate is absolutely correct. This offensive line has a major role in it. There's no running back in this league that can be productive without their offensive line. But Rico has shown you in recent years, and especially this year when given the opportunity, that he takes full advantage of it. Don't keep him on a pitch count. Let him run the rock.
And let's hear from Rico earlier in the week when he spoke to the Cowboys media.
Just go out there and continue to do what I've been doing, trying to make the most of each and every opportunity, and the rest to take care of itself, free agency and all that stuff. But just going out there trying to play my best football. And that's the only thing I can do.
You mentioned you got the 2 games left to get to 1,000, and that's been top of mind for you. What would it mean to hit that threshold and then be able to say you were a 1,000-yard rusher in the NFL?
It'll mean a lot. Like you said, it's been on my mind, and I got, like I said, 2 games to do it. But definitely mean a lot to be a 1,000-yard rusher in the NFL, especially with my first season is getting to kind of carry the load. So definitely a landmark I want to reach, and I think I can do it.
Rico Dowdle keeping the right mindset when it comes to reaching 1,000 yards. He may not have a Pro Bowl season. The Cowboys have had some Pro Bowl caliber seasons on their squad, though, throughout the year. As we take a look at the update in terms of the total votes, you've got some specialists in the fold, Brandon Aubrey, Cavante Turpin. It looks like CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons will both make a Pro Bowl. They'll announce the votes coming up on January 3rd, who will be heading to the Pro Bowl yet again. Now it's time for some Call Your Shot. And I heard as we take a look at some of the standings and how they've turned out going into the final 2 weeks of the regular season, there's the rules. Players must make a bold prediction for the game, and you can only have the bet for the amount of points that you have available. So here's the leader, Nate Newton, with 3 points. I'm lingering here. If I win this week, and you lose based off of possibly 1 point, then we would tie. So I feel like since you jumped the gun on your prediction, you have to go with 2 points here.
No, sir. No, sir.
No, you
Sworn
lost.
I had 2.
You lost.
Oh, they shaving points, man.
Oh, that's crazy. All right, Nate, what's your bold prediction this year?
We have to carry the ball at least 23
Isaiah's
times.
back here, I promise.
At least 23 times we got to carry the ball. Because what can happen is if Philly gets the lead, we got to lean on Cooper. So we got to keep these things balanced early and often. So
How many points?
1 point. I got to make sure I'm in the fight, dog. That's a bold
Make it
prediction.
interesting. What do you think,
great.
Isaiah?
Oh, doggone seatbelt. 5-point harness over here. Playing
right.
it safe. Listen up. I'm going with 3 sacks for the Dallas Cowboys defense. There's no Jalen Hurts. There's only a Saquon. So either you're going to hand the ball off or you're going to have Pickett standing back there like a statue, get the man in the backfield.
Yeah, with me, I'm going 1 point right here, and that's 2 takeaways. 2 takeaways for this defense. We've seen these past couple games when they've won the turnover battle. So they got to continue that. 1 point, 2 takeaways for this defense.
I'm going to do 1 point. I'm going to say Dallas, without CeeDee Lamb, will have a 100-yard receiver today against that Philadelphia.
Jake
Bingo!
Ferg.
We're talking bold, baby. That does it for Cowboys Pregame Live. We'll see you after the game, everyone.